Hi everybody, welcome to today's edition of The Wrath of Ken, USA. Brought to you by the aforementioned Ken and also my ball cap, which is from the USS George Washington CVN 73, which I like to wear walking around town so like an old guy. Hey, look at that, I can thump the melons. And what's a Skype anyways? So as I've gotten older with this hat and I see the gray hair, I'm starting to think to myself, there's going to come a time when I'm going to shuffle off this mortal coil and be spoken of in the past tense. And then I decided, well, how do I want my funeral to be held? How do I want it to proceed? And I came up with a couple of options. Now, of course, there are plenty of options available to me, and let's be real, my family. We could have, I could be exploded over a major metropolitan area, which would probably cause mass panic. Or I could go the traditional funeral method where legions and thousands of people, mourners, thousands of people could come to my funeral and watch them plant me in the ground. This would be preceded the previous couple of days by a wake where people could file in and pay their respects to my lifeless corpse. And that would be followed by a tasty little dinner of little ham and cheese on biscuits and Swedish meatballs and coffee that could take the paint off of anything, to tell you the truth. But I have a real problem, though, with sadness that may accompany my funeral. The problem is when I die, I'll probably inspire mass panic and sadness by random Chinese people. And I really didn't want that to happen because I'm a giving person and I don't want people to be upset. Of course, this is actually going to be how my funeral really turns out, attended by people who thought I was actually funny. Therefore, I decided I'll go with the burial at sea option. Now, burial at sea will give the advantage, has the advantage of people not having to feel guilty when they can't come to the cemetery to visit my grave. And plus, an added benefit is that it will inconvenience perfect strangers who really had no idea who the dead guy is. Well, the disadvantage, though, of burial at sea is there might not be a chance to have an actual wake where people can actually come to visit my body and say, oh, he looks really natural, well, actually that is the farthest from natural you're ever going to be. What I would like to do, though, if I can do the burial at sea, which I'm still going to do because I really don't want to, impact people negatively, is I would like to have a kneeler-activated speaker placed in my casket that when people come down to kneel and pay their respects or daydream or whatever they're going to do once they kneel at a dead person, is that it will activate a speaker secreted somewhere in the casket where I'll say, hey, how you doing? Don't I look natural? And I think that'd be hilarious. When I brought that up to my sister, she said, Ken, that will give the old people heart attacks. And I told her that a couple years ago, and I told her, I said, you may not be up on current events, but we are the old people now. Well, that's all the time we have today for this week's edition of The Wrath of Ken. But before we go, remember to think about what you're going to do when you have to go. Okay, wrong type of have to go. Yeah, I have serious issues. Okay, like I said, that's all we have for this week. So until next week, don't forget, buy American. See you next week.